Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Delighted to see so many people on this morning's session, especially from such a wide range of different countries and market units. This morning, I am delighted to be joined by three of my colleagues. Rita Amoran, who is our SuccessFactors lead in Portugal, Otulia Couplehouse, who's been responsible for organising and facilitating this morning's session, and Nikolai Janning, who also heads up our SuccessFactors practice in Denmark. This morning, just before we get things underway, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Typically, for those of you who've attended these sessions before, you're probably aware that we try to make them as interactive and as engaging as possible. We will facilitate a Q&A session at the end of this morning's session. So please feel free to engage with us through the chat, which you'll notice is at the very top of your screen. We'll also record this morning's session. If you would like a copy of the recording, please feel free to reach out to anyone from a Gavdi perspective who will be happy to share it. My name is John Clifford, based in Dublin. Have been responsible, I suppose, alongside Otulia for organising and facilitating this morning's session. I'm just going to go through the agenda real quick, just to give you, I suppose, an overview of what we'll cover. So we'll do, for those of you who aren't familiar with Gavdi, I'll do a quick introduction to Gavdi Group. Then we'll go into the main topic, which is SuccessFactors AI. Nikolai will talk a little bit about the use cases. Rita's going to do a product demonstration where she'll again go through some of the use cases for AI. We will then summarize that, or Nikolai, I'm hoping, will summarize that in the form of some key takeaways. And as I've said already, that we will facilitate a Q&A session as well at the end. And we'll give you just some insights as well into some upcoming events that we are participating in. So if I was just to go on to the next slide and just talk a little bit about Gavdi. So who are Gavdi? We're an SAP Gold partner, a little bit different to other SAP partners in the sense that, firstly, we're employee owned. We're still owned and managed by our original founder. We celebrated our 25th anniversary in the HR SAP space last April, I think it was. So we're going into our 26th year now. We are primarily, I suppose, a HR consultancy company in the sense that when I talk about HR, I talk about technology, whether that be SAP SuccessFactors, SAP HR, Ibris, and so forth. We have just over 280 certified consultants. We service over 1 million employees throughout the world. Fair to say that we have a global presence right across EMEA and down into the Middle East with a couple of offices in Dubai. Definitely, as you can imagine, over the past 25 years, we have worked across a wide variety of industries and also sectors, and we would also be considered one of the biggest payroll implementation partners across Europe also. So again, if I was just to go to the next slide, what do we do? We're very much, I suppose, firstly, an advisory company in the sense that we provide best practices and insights into implementation. We also provide a wide variety of different cloud solutions. Fair to say that we've also pivoted, I think, over the last couple of years in the sense today we really do try to provide what we call total workforce management solutions. We also have strategic partnerships, I suppose, to facilitate this with the likes of ServiceNow, PXMsoft, which is a sister company of ours, Workforce Software, and Litmus, to name a few. We have also a significant S4HANA business. And alongside of all those services we provide, we also have a very strong support offering called Gavdi Application Value. If I was to go to the next slide, just again to give you an idea, I suppose, of some of the customers that we've worked with. As you can see, there's some really true global companies there. We work with customers of all sizes and all industries, as I've said. So that's just a quick overview. Hopefully that is insightful into those of you who may not have attended one of these sessions before. Now I will hand it over to my colleague, Mr. Janning. Good morning, Nikolai.
Morning, John.
Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction to Gavdi and this webinar. My name is Nikolai, and I sit head up together with my good colleague Rita, our SuccessFactors department, focusing on HR transformation and adaptation of technology for HR. I will give you an introduction to AI in SuccessFactors, and then Rita afterwards will do a live demonstration of it so you can actually see what it is. But before we do that, we can see that if we look at the business suite from SAP, and some organizations out there joining this call today might be running ERP, Concur, etc. across the enterprise, which is great because the strategy is that AI will power your business processes across the full enterprise. So not only in SuccessFactors, but also in S/4HANA, in Concur, and so on. Today, we will obviously be looking at human capital management, so the SuccessFactors part of it, but note that AI is available across the business suite and is also available on the business technology platform. That also means extensions and things like our own products are also AI driven. The three principles of AI in SAP are relevant, reliable, and responsible. AI has to be relevant to meet real business challenges and to ensure contextual intelligence and insights for the actual process by using AI to enhancing workflows, to automate repetitive tasks, etc. It needs to be reliable. So the AI in SuccessFactors is trained on customer and company data, purely on your own data center and your own instance, so you will not share data with other customers, etc. And it has to be responsible, built on leading ethics and data privacy, such as GDPR, AI Act, and other industry standards in order to be responsible. It's also a matter of being responsible by having, let's say, your managers, instead of going to ChatGPT and doing job descriptions, feeding the whole world with company data. You want to do it responsibly in SuccessFactors by utilizing AI there. So that's really the three principles, and behind of this from SAP is a full board and management team to ensure the ethics and proper development of AI, including human oversight as well. If we look at the SuccessFactors part, there has been, at least to my understanding, some misunderstandings or wrong assumptions about what AI is. It's really, really simple. We have two elements in SuccessFactors for AI. We have an AI co-pilot that can provide answers, deliver guidance, and, for instance, make work faster, more efficient, also integrated with Teams. And then we have generative AI capabilities. That is really the two elements when we look at AI in general in SuccessFactors. Joule, which is the co-pilot, and generative AI capabilities. Generative AI capabilities is more or less the same as if you go to ChatGPT and ask that to generate, let's say, a job description. Whereas the AI co-pilot is and now we're simplifying it, but a chatbot. A rather intelligent chatbot, but at least it's a chatbot. So for some of these, there are some use cases already now in the system which is available, meaning that these AI capabilities are there. You can actually start to use them today. And so really it's not something in the future, 2-3 years down the line. This is available now in your instance once you have deployed AI. We have assisted writing, so enhancing compensation talks, set goals, refine writing. So that's the enhanced writing capabilities, which Rita will show as well. There is AI assistant applicant screening. We have the Career Explorer, where AI will provide or recommend career opportunities, for instance. We have personalized learning recommendations. Then there's the Talent Intelligence Hub, which is also fairly new, that uses AI to align employee skills with business goals, optimize recruiting and onboarding, and career development and growth within SuccessFactors. We have Joule, the AI Copilot, as said. We'll come back and show that later. And then we have the job description generator, where managers and HR can spend their time more efficiently creating job descriptions based on generative AI capabilities. And then AI in Microsoft Teams generates interview questions and also enables post-interview evaluations, meaning you can conduct a interview on Teams and you can have AI produce interview questions directly to your chat. So this is already something that is there already and available to be deployed and start consuming. Together with these Joule AI capabilities, where there currently are delivered 93 capabilities, such as update cost center, create a position, create new job requisition, performance goals generation. A lot of these use cases are already delivered right now, 93, and available in your instance once AI and Joule is enabled. The Joule Copilot is a chatbot. We will show that later during the call. But as you can see on the screenshots here, it's a chatbot that gives you answers directly when you engage with it. This is not only available for SuccessFactors, but if you run multiple modules across the business suite, such as SAP Analytics Cloud or S/4HANA, you can actually, for instance, in SAP Analytics Cloud, also query Joule to generate a report. So instead of sitting there and building manually reports, takes a lot of time and stuff like that, you can actually do it via interaction with Joule. We will today focus on the SuccessFactors capabilities and what is also available, which unfortunately we cannot demo today, but one of the really, really nice features that was recently released is the AI document grounding. Document grounding is where you as an organization will upload your HR policies to SharePoint or Workzone, and then Joule will contextualize or index these HR policies, meaning your employees can ask a question to Joule, such as, I'm taking a government official for dinner, what are the compliance requirements? Joule will then give you the answer, or the employee the answer, based on your HR policy, not only explaining the actual policy, but also linking to the document. This could be parental leave, maternity leave, sickness, vacation, all of these elements that goes into an employee handbook and HR policies, meaning HR can focus on more strategic topics, business partnering, development, all of the things that HR wants to focus on, rather than sitting and answering basic questions from employees. So this is something, it's available now, it's here already, and this is something ready to transform your HR operations. It's a really nice feature, and most organizations use SharePoint. If you don't have SharePoint, you can actually do it via Workzone, bundled together with Joule, meaning, again, you upload your HR policies there, and Joule will manage the rest. So PDF documents stored centrally where no one can find them, don't know the answer. That is, those days are over and now available to be fed into Joule for employees to interact with. I think that's the quick high-level overview of what AI and Joule can do. Rita, good morning. Hope you are well. You are in Denmark these days, so that's wonderful. But let's take a look at what the capabilities actually can do in SuccessFactors.
Thank you very much, Nikolai, and good morning, everyone. My name is Rita, yes, but today actually I will be playing the role of Geoff. He is a manager in our SuccessFactors company, and what I will try to do is just put in a live demo, all the words that Nikolai and the slides that you were just presented with. So the first thing as a manager, and everything that I will show you today is, if we look back, what are we asking our managers to do as part of their business as usual, so as part of their job. One of the things that as a manager I do is identify that I have a need in my team and that I actually want to post a requisition and really get that job out there. And that out there might be LinkedIn, it might be Think in Germany, it might be your own job posting platform. But the one thing that I always need to deliver is a job description. And that job description is really fundamental in today's day, where we really want to attract the right candidate. You just don't want to get 100 applicants that are not to your expectations. So we need really, as a manager, to be super good in our job description, because that attracts, in all honesty, better talent. So as a manager, if I need to write down a job description, that is time consuming. It's a lot of words that we need to put in. We might need to sound it with a colleague, sound it with HR. We might even eventually put it on ChatGPT and just ask the prompt like, okay, please refine the text, please do this. And as Nikolai already mentioned, we are just feeding this tool with company data, and we shouldn't really do that. So with this generative AI, we can just click in here to enhance a job description. And what he will do is, okay, he will look into the basic that we had already defined for this digital expert job that I'm looking for. And then instead of keeping, like the bullet points and an odd table like this, he just branded into a full text with a lot of content in just, I don't know, it took like 5 seconds to think. So this is one of the great inputs that you can get with AI. So you just have a basic description for a job, something raw that might even come automatically from your job catalog. Then instead of me as a manager spending time like, okay, how do I write this? What's the right English grammar, the tone? You just don't need it. You click on a button and then you can see like an entire text provided by AI, and you can either accept it or discard it and continue further. Right now I will not accept, but this is one example. And it's a task managers do quite often, and it takes them a lot of time. Another task that I do as a manager, and that is not necessarily something we do often, is an annual compensation cycle review. So in the end of the year, we all know we need to sit down with our team and talk to them about, okay, how is next year going to be? And how does that translate into financial numbers? I mean, are they going to get a raise? How much is that? And sometimes when you do it as a manager, you need to have the data on your side. Like you need to look back and have some insights on, okay, what has been the progression of this employee? When was the last time that he or she, in this case, got a raise? What's like the talking points? I mean, what should I talk to her? Maybe I'm just a recent manager and I don't have that much experience to support me in such a difficult conversation. And that's exactly something that instead of going to ChatGPT or the Chinese version, you can just ask AI embedded in SAP. So when you try to look at the data of this employee, instead of spending time searching for it, you can just click on a very small button, generate insights, and the system will quickly give you a lot of information. This information is divided into different areas. So it's still thinking, you will see that it's putting information as we go along. But if you focus on, it will be divided into a summary. So like a heads up, quite short sentence of that employee and the history behind it. It will give you some insights. So the date that I was talking about, like if you go to one of those meetings, you need to have with you exactly everything that happened. And it's not only what happened to that employee, like last year she got a 5% raise. No, it's also like how she's positioned within your band or your range. Let's say she is doing a job of a digital expert and she is really above the range or not really well compared towards her peers. And that's some insights that you need in order to prepare and actually decide the increase that you want to give her according to the company guidelines and so on. But it's fundamented. So it's not biased. It's not really on feelings or ideas. No, it's concrete, data-driven feedback that you get from the system. Again, it took 10 seconds to write the entire text. And it's all in here and it's tailored to each employee. So if I would find someone else in my team, it will not be the same insights because the values are different, the history is different. So obviously it is based on each individual that you ask the system to generate the insights. Last but not least, and one thing that I very much like is the talking points. So it doesn't let you just go into that meeting without, okay, what should I focus on? What is relevant? No, it really gives you some ideas on what you should talk to that person. Obviously, this is AI. I mean, you should bring the human factor into the discussion, but it's a starting point. Instead of taking 1.5 hours to prepare for one meeting with one employee, I have already an enabler that will just make this preparation faster. And when we look into managers that have a team of 8 people, 9, sometimes even 10, it puts a lot of pressure on them. And by having this, it's just a facilitator. So it gives them the data quickly in 10 seconds without the need for, looking into my notes from last year, like how did it went with this employee? No, it's just here, you push a button and that's out. If you want, you can even print it using the printer icon that you should see on my screen. And then you can take it with you to the meeting in case you need to look again at the value because it is quite precise, her annual salary and so on. So you can print it and take it to the meeting. Bottom line, the plan is to work as an enabler, a facilitator. And that's the same that we would be able to find, for instance, in terms of feedback. Another thing that managers spend a lot of time is doing feedback. That feedback can be done to our team members, so our direct reports, but it can also be done to others in the organization. Feedback nowadays, it's crucial. We rely on feedback. We need feedback to improve, to reward, to recognize. So it's not only negative feedback, it's all feedback that we need. And it is so time consuming that managers tend to let it sit in their to-do list until really it's the last minute and you need to rush, and then you are doing overtime just to go over all the feedback that you need to provide, and it will not be pretty, it will not be efficient. So how can AI support that? One thing that we can do is, for instance, when we are starting to write the feedback, and I'll just write here what went well. So she is a great colleague, always professional, on-time delivery, and with high quality. So I just write something really simple, like not extensive, just some strong hint words. But is this really a good feedback that I just wrote in my screen? Not really. So what would managers tend to do? Maybe again, run to ChatGPT and try to get something out of it, feeding data all over the web. Instead, within the same screen, they can actually just type the high level and then click on this AI capabilities icon. And you have all sorts of different options that you can use. So for instance, maybe we want just to enhance what we wrote, like it was so simple. I mean, maybe put some additional words connected with what I have written. You can say if you like it, if you don't like it, or even continue to request for further inputs. For instance, we can even change the tone. Maybe we wrote it in such a simple way and it's really not good, so we can make it more professional, more like human, let's say, which is very interesting considering this is a AI tool. But we can ask all of this directly embedded in the system without feeding information elsewhere or doing copy paste. No, you don't need. And there are many options you can pick from. Another that's very interesting is you can even translate it. So let's say you have a manager working in, let's go with China, and he has an employee based in Denmark. So maybe he is not really used to writing in English and his grammar is not good. He could write it in Chinese and then just ask AI to translate it into one of the languages available from the list. So in this case, he would go from Chinese to English or even to Danish if he would like to send the feedback on the employee's language. And this is all embedded. We could also make it longer, and I'll just go back because I have so many things on my screen, but we could actually say, okay, just wrote something so simple, make the text longer. So write the sentence in a bit more polished way. And then once we are satisfied with the answer, then we can just click apply and it will be written automatically in the feedback. And this will facilitate the feedback that we give to our employees. Obviously, it doesn't give you, okay, what should I give as a feedback? You need to know that as a manager, but it will help you. It will make it faster to write and also smarter because I don't need to write 3 full sentences. I just wrote some keywords and then AI will transform it in a better text for me. And that's what I like. So I'm Geoff. I like to work smarter and faster. Now going to the homepage, other tasks that we do as managers. So we went through enriching a job description so we can post a vacancy online. We went through giving feedback to one of my team members, but that's not all you do within an HR system, within a master data system. And sometimes what we see in our customers is that managers, they have a really strong resistance towards, adopting a new system because they're always lost. They just don't know where to go, where to click. And instead of focusing on more strategic activities or talking directly with the team and doing other things, they're just lost in trying to find where in the system they should do something. And sometimes it ends up that they pick the phone, they call HR, and then HR is dragged into the mix as well. And instead of focusing on their own tasks, they're now supporting a manager. And if you have a big organization behind, one manager quick enough becomes 60,000. So it's just that scale and the time that we are spending in non-productive activities, it's massive. To remove it, or try to remove it, we have this approach with Joule that Nikolai also mentioned before. So now we moved on from this generative AI to having your own chatbot. Actually, it's kind of like a personal assistant that you can have in the system. And instead of me remembering where I need to do those actions, I will just ask my assistant. So for instance, one thing that I could ask is I need to submit an expense report and I need to know my cost center and I just forgot. So I will write him. So I wrote him a simple sentence. Okay, I would like to view my cost center. And then he will take a few seconds to find exactly what I mean with my sentence. If it's not clear, he will ask me back, what is it that I want? And then he will find the information for me. So, okay, my cost center is this. I can now copy and use it in the tool to, for instance, register my expenses. What if it's not really my cost center that I want to know? Maybe one of my team members has expenses that he submitted. I need to approve. I'm not entirely sure they picked the right cost center. So I would like, to view, let's go with Jackie and Drina cost center. So Jackie, she is one of my team members. Obviously, everything that you ask in Joule is supporting permission. So if I don't have access to a specific employee, even if I ask here, he will not give me that data. But she is on my team, and I do have access to her. So now he says, okay, we found one employee, and this is her cost center. And now I can quickly give it to her. Other things that you might want to do in the system, and now not necessarily from a manager perspective, but even on an employee level, is, for instance, changing your home address. We don't change home address that often, or at least majority doesn't, which means that when you actually need to do it, you might not know where to go and where to click. So again, we just go to our very own private assistant and we say, okay, I would like to change my, home address. So I just wrote him this, and now expectations could be that either he tells me where to go, which is quite boring, and I will forget because it's too many clicks potentially. So instead of that, he just gives me my home address and he will ask, what do I want to change? So now you have here the details of my very own home address, and you can decide what you want to change. So for instance, county should be New Jersey, because Test is not really a county where I live. So we feed this information into Joule. He will now again restructure the home address and would ask us for a validation, like if that's exactly what we want, if we are sure regarding the change. And it will update the system. Now, you see county is New Jersey, even better spelled than what I did. So I missed the capital letters, but Joule handled that for me. And I just need to say if I want to submit or not. In this case, I'm happy with the change. He did it perfectly, so we hit submit, and then Joule will write that change into the system. Obviously, if there would be approval flows connected with a specific change, those will be respected regardless of doing the change manually or doing the change via Joule. So that doesn't matter, they will still be taken in. And this is one of the things that it's SAP new mantra. So they want companies to have this perspective of the employee comes first. And Joule and generative AI are really supporting it. So now you can see your changes need to be approved by Tessa Walker. So exactly the workflow that I was talking to you about. And if you even want to leave a comment, you can do it. If not, you just write, I don't have any comments. And then that's it. So he will send a workflow to Tessa, which is my HR manager. She will review the changes that I wanted, and she will either say yes or no. So done, we have a heads up with an astronaut, nicely done, and we can continue. So now maybe going back to these managerial tasks that we do sometime, because I showed you the option to view some of the data, both for myself and my team. I showed you updating private or personal information such as my home address, but sometimes as a manager, we also perform changes into our employees. So for instance, I would like to change the working time for, and now I will write a very difficult name. So Akoshil is the employee. And then the system will try to find if that employee exists within my team, and he will ask me about it. He will also bring up exactly the working time of this employee nowadays, and he will ask me what do I want to adjust. This is something that managers do quite often. So it's one of the processes that they are involved with. So if an employee wants to go from a full-time to a part-time, maybe they first reach out to the manager, and the manager can initiate the change from the system. They don't need to think about where do I need to go. So they don't need to find the employee profile. They don't even need to type the entire name. You can see I just wrote the first Aquashale. It's a very tough name to pronounce. But he found a match. He tells me, okay, he's working 40 hours a week. Do you want to update it? And then I could just say, okay, yeah, change it to 30. And we will follow the exact same process we did for home address. On top of changing the working time, you could do other things. You could initiate promotions, for instance, from here. You could also see the emergency contact details, like let's hope it never happens, but something happened to one of your employees while on a shift, so working during the night. And you just, there is no time to open the system and go through all the files and the portlets that you have to find who to call. You just want to call someone. So you can open the chatbot, ask Joule what's the emergency contact of that employee, and he will give you. The same towards feedback, and that's the last example I wanted to show you. So I went to show you that we could give a proper, solid feedback to one of our team members, but sometimes we do or should at least give feedback outside our team, maybe with someone that we worked on a project or that was part of a nice assignment or a short assignment that we had. And sometimes, because it's so time consuming to click all the way around, we just don't want to do it. So instead of finding how to give feedback, we can also ask Joule to support us in there. And we can just say, give feedback to Jada, for instance. I know Jada, she's on my team, but I picked her because, again, I went with the first name approach only. And some might argue, well, he is not clever enough. He will just say, I mean, there are 200 Jadas, which one are you talking about? But he actually does that. So because I just said Jada, and that's quite ambiguous, like there's more than one. First of all, he will tell me, okay, pick one of them. Then you can find the one you want. It comes with insights about her job title, her email, and also a photo if it exists in SuccessFactors. And it gives you this one screen, all actions that you need to perform as a manager type of approach. And now I could write the same feedback. So she's wonderful, she's great, team player, and super clever. And you can write it there. We would also have the option to enhance and ask Joule a similar approach than we did with the generative AI. But now I just want to make it simple and quick. So just, okay, draft the feedback for me, and then we will be able to submit it using Joule. So the plan or the entire message that we want to pass is that definitely we want to put employees first. We want to streamline and make it easier for them. So this user experience is key. It is more than how the system looks. It's how easy we can make it for you. So forget about clicking everywhere. Just ask your very own personal assistant to do it for you. It will structure. You have seen it here, and I can just hit send, and it is as easy as that. And with this, I can actually have time to focus on a more strategic activities, to think about how to position my team better, how to make us relevant, and just forget about, okay, where do I need to click in this huge system? And with that message, it concludes my demo. So I'm handing over to Nikolai again, and thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Rita.
Sorry. Thank you, Rita. Looks really amazing. We have been through some of these use cases covered in today's demo. I hope you all on the call here can see the value and benefit from AI and SuccessFactors. This is something available now. So you can go ahead and start to implement this in your instance and get up and running. Some of the key takeaways from this, we have some use cases showing the value add or business case for doing this. First, we had a manager who want to be able to find relevant information about my team members efficiently and trigger processes on HR requests quickly so that I can best support my employees while limiting administration time. That was, for instance, the example with updating the cost center or the working time. Benefits from doing this with Joule is a 90% faster execution of navigation and transactional tasks and 95% faster informational searches. If we try to quantify this, that actually means such process of viewing or updating a cost center would, without AI, probably take around 5 minutes. And with AI and Joule support, now can take down to 30 seconds. The same goes for viewing information and searching. That might have gone from 10 minutes to 30 seconds, again, driving efficiency and an intuitive experience for employees and managers. The job description scenario is, as we also saw as an HR recruiter, want to be able to efficiently create high quality job descriptions so I can attract the right talent. This shows an up to 89% reduction in time and cost for job description creation and a 5% reduction in cost of bad hires, meaning enhanced employer brand equity and more efficient recruiting. This probably goes down from potentially 75 minutes to create a new job description or 30 minutes to modify an existing job descriptions, and bringing that down to average 8 minutes to generate and review a job description generated by AI, as Rita just presented. This is something, it's there, it's available. Go ahead and get started. It's a really value add for your organization and for your users. So there's no reason to wait. The technology is here. The solution is here as well, and we're happy to support you and get you up and running with Joule and AI in your SuccessFactors instance. I think that was the overview, John.
It's great. Thank you both. Good use cases as well, I suppose, for me, and from just talking about previously, is that the fact that we've started to roll this out in multiple countries now, and the feedback has been generally very positive. You are going to hear a lot more about AI and Joule from Gavdi, it's fair to say, over the next couple of months. But on that note, I'll go back to today. I'm going to go straight into the questions. This is a good question, and thank you, Imran. Nice to see you on the call. Question from Imran Nikolai. Do we need WorkZone to onboard Joule? Typically, from your past experience, how long does it take to onboard Joule and SuccessFactors?
First of all, you don't need WorkZone to do Joule. You can use WorkZone if you don't have SharePoint. So we have some clients out there who are running the Google suite and not the Office suite, and they would like to use document grounding. There you can actually go ahead and procure a very limited set of WorkZone licenses to store your HR policies to implement document grounding in Joule.
Thank you, Nikolai. Hope that answers the question, Imran. Another good question from Martina. Thanks, Martina. Our SuccessFactors instance is in English only. Does that limit the use of assisted writing for goals and feedback?
No, there's a translation functionality, as we also saw, so you can translate from your native language into, let's say, English, in case you have a diverse workforce across geographies. So that is there. The writing assistant is also trained to detect bias and mitigate and inform if any bias is detected in the writing.
Right. That answers the question. Dua, nice to see you on the call. Another good question, Nikolai. I think you may have covered it in parts. Can you explain the prerequisites for implementing Joule?
I can try. There are some technical prerequisites which you need to configure and set up on the BTP, so the business technology platform, and you need some configuration there, and then you need to do some upgrades in your SuccessFactors instance. Everything something we have as part of our starter package, which will help you enable and get going with for Joule.
Great. Actually, I might ask Ottilia to share that with everyone as well, what the Gavdi offering looks like maybe towards the end of the call. Another really good question. And Rita, I'll ask you this one. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but just to give Nikolai a little bit of a break. Is there a license needed for AI Joule?
Yes, you need to acquire SAP units in order to have Joule working, and generative AI as well.
Great. Another question, this one is from Luke. I'm just going to take 2 or 3 more. I'm getting mindful of the time. Another one for you, Rita. I'm confident that you can answer. Can we control access to AI in Joule, just in case, I suppose, around roles, rights and permissions and so forth?
Correct. So not only we control the answers from Joule, that it doesn't give you data that you are not allowed to see in SuccessFactors, but on top of that, we also control access to Joule himself or herself using role-based permissions. So you can decide exactly who in your organization will have access to this tool.
Am I right in saying, and that's a good question from Lena, Rita again, Joule AI, is it available in LMS learning?
It supports some queries from LMS, but I'm not sure if it's embedded already because LMS sits in a different platform than the BizX, so the core. But we can take that one and answer that one later if Nikolai doesn't.
Question again. This one is for you, Nikolai, and I'll take one more after this. Will Joule respect our BP?
It does.
Correct.
It does.
And it's responsible, reliable, relevant, meaning your authorization framework is put to Joule and AI as well. So no one can access data they're not authorized anyway to access.
Right. Last question, and I am mindful of the fact that we do have other questions, but rest assured we will follow up with the other questions. But again, just being conscious of everyone's time. This is a good question as well from Manoj. Can Joule be integrated with Microsoft Teams so that users can chat within Teams itself rather than SuccessFactors? Rita?
I'm not sure if it was me or Nikolai, so I was answering. But
I saw you nodding.
Definitely, we can integrate Joule with Microsoft Teams and even with the Copilot.
Right.
So yes, it is possible.
Okay. As we come up, this was up to the hour. For me, just to give you some, I suppose, insights into what else is going on. From a Gavdi perspective, we're sponsoring SAP BT Summit in Denmark. We're also, I suppose, the big one really for us from a HR perspective is that we're really looking forward to sponsoring HR Connect in Copenhagen and Stockholm. We'd love to see you all there. I don't want to give away too much, but we do have a speaker confirmed who's going to talk about their business case and I suppose the benefits they had from rolling out SAP Joule. On that note, just for myself and Ottilia, really like to thank Nikolai and Rita for what I think was a very insightful learning experience. I haven't seen it before, but yeah, it's definitely a very, very powerful tool. I think for final note, I might just ask you, Nikolai, maybe just for a quick summary and maybe next step for people who might be interested in learning a little bit more about Gavdi and the Gavdi offering. I know Ottilia's shared a one-pager, so yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Nikolai, for last words, please.
Thank you, John. For me, the most important part is that this is here now, it's available now. Don't wait, get started. AI is on everyone's minds. You might in your organization have your employees and managers using different AI tools anyway. They are learning this, they are getting used to working with AI. Why not go ahead and do that in your HR landscape as well? So please feel free to reach out to one of us here if you like a deep dive or a one-to-one session on how Joule and AI can support your organization and your business. Please feel free to do that. Yeah, and with that, I think thank you for your time. Thanks for joining today. Pleasure to see so many on the call.
It's great. Rita, it would be rude of me not to give you
No, I will not stop anyone from getting lunch anymore. So I just want to say thank you very much and look forward to see you again in the future. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hope
Thank
everyone
you
has a
all.
great day. Look forward
Take
to
care.
seeing you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye.